There you go.
Oh,
Sorry.
this meeting is being recorded. I should just leave the meeting right now as it gives me the option. All right, got Megan, we're back. We're back and we're badder than ever. Or worse than
Yeah.
ever, or better than ever. Which one is it? I don't know. We'll find out. What are you sipping on there, Megan? It is Kill the Bottle podcast.
Water.
Oh, great. Here I am saying, you know what? I'm gonna be good today, but just for Megan, I am gonna bust out. I am drinking an old fashioned, which is usually not my first choice. I'm more of a Manhattan drinker, but mm, ooh, and Megan is running to the refrigerator to get herself a little something something. Um, I am drinking an old fashioned, but I'm drinking an old fashioned by this company called Neo. I'm drinking an old fashioned, Megan. Now that you're back,
I
it's
heard you. Yeah.
it's by this company called Neo, and this is kind of cool. I'm gonna hold it up to camera so you can see it. So they sell these like pre-batch cocktails, and this is how they come. It looks like an old school CD case, basically, and inside is your cocktail inside of a plastic bag, in this like cardboard on the outside, plastic bag inside with a little cocktail. And this one is made with a Bullet bourbon, so they use some premium products in there. And these are made in Italy, so I guess Bullet sends their stuff over to Italy. They pre-batch these cocktails, and nothing like it can look like you have a CD case at your house, but there's not CDs.
Oh, the
They're
perfect
pre-batch
alcoholic gift.
cocktails, motherfucker. Huh?
The perfect alcoholic gift for people who
Yeah,
don't
they,
want
they had
people to
sent me a
know.
sampler pack, and to be completely honest, I forgot I had it. And I found it the other day, and I'm like, oh, I gotta try these. I have a Boulevardier, a Milano Torino, and a Manhattan, but I'm sure they have a bunch of other ones. But these are the six or whatever, five that were sent to me.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, no,
Well,
four that were sent to me. Fuck, I can't even do math. Okay,
I opened one of your canned wines and I
the ones
learned
that
that,
you're. Yeah. What about?
yeah, I learned that if you put it in the glass, it's a little better
Oh,
than
then
drinking out of the
drinking it out of a
can.
can.
Yeah. And then I also
Yeah,
learned that the white ones are much better because you can like make them cool. It just wine out of a can is just not appealing to me.
I've had a couple of okay rosés out of a can. I can't recall any brands or any of that jive, but I have had a couple of decent rosés in a can. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not into mind you, I've had really tasty boxed wine, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the technology hasn't gotten there yet. I don't know what they line the cans with. I'm assuming if you line them with like silicone or whatever it is inside there, you're not going to get the metallic taste. But I can't imagine a red wine tasting too good out of a can.
It was bad. It was bad. I was like, no wonder
Yeah.
he gave this to me. Ha ha ha.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Merry
Um,
Christmas to me.
Speaking of go fuck yourself, I'm like, hey Megan, send me the Zoom invite for our show today, and I get an
I
email from
sent it.
Megan. Yeah,
What's the
it's just
problem? I
it,
sent it to you like you asked.
no, I like the first thing it says is fuck you, and then a link. So we're really starting out this year so
it asked
festively.
it asked for
You
a
know,
subject line, so I was like, "Fuck you."
yeah, yeah. It's
You're welcome.
that's very apropos. How was your Santa Claus day? How was Xmas?
I'm done with it.
Wait,
Not in a
wait. Okay,
terrible
okay,
way.
sorry. I'll let you explain yourself. Sorry,
Yeah, no, I
I jumped
just
the gun here.
eh, first of all, applaud Southwest because I
What?
think they're fucking tired of me. So they saw my name and said, make sure all her flights are fucking on time and she gets aisle seating. Ha! It was
Really?
great. Yeah, well, when I got there, when I checked in, they were like, all right, you're delayed by 35 minutes. And I was like, oh, color me shocked. And then I go in and I see my flight start pushing back to the normal time. And I'm looking around and everyone else is delayed. And then I'm back on time and every other flight out of there is delayed. And I was like, oh, Southwest is on to me. They
Well,
don't
a
want it
broken
anymore.
clock is right twice a day. That's all I could say about Southwest. Maybe you just got lucky, Megan. You should have played the lotto that night,
I
or whatever
should
lottery was
have.
in Austin, Texas, if
I
they have
should
one.
have. But to be fair, I was three legs total, but the first one I didn't get an aisle seat. I got a good seating. I got like B5. And I'm like, oh good, I'm gonna get an aisle seat. Well, it's Christmas and they do all the A's and then they say, okay, families. I've never seen so many fucking kids in my goddamn life. The line was longer than any of the B line, A line combined of family strollers. So by the time I did get on the plane, there were no aisle seats. So, because they were all taken by the
Wow.
families. Yeah. So I ended up, the flight attendant was like, hey, look at this couple up front. She's like, you can probably sit there and they'll move next to each other. And I was like, oh, thanks. So I go in and I say, hey, can I sit by you guys? And they're old and they go, yeah. Well, they don't move. And then the entire fucking flight, they proceed to talk over me to each other.
Well, it's kind of like our show. I talk over you all the time. It's
What
perfect. You
the
should be used to it.
I finally was like, do you guys want to sit next to each other? Because I'm kind of done here. And the lady had to be 75, nearing 80. And she, when we took off and landed, she was doing an Instagram live.
What?
I kid you not, motherfucker. Instagram live. I was like, what is she doing? I
Has
was,
Southwest officially become the Walmart of airlines? Are they surpassing Spirit Airlines as the Walmart of airlines? Because what the actual fuck is that?
what is she doing? I was looking, there's like 3 that joined, and I just drooled and watched, and I was just like, what is happening? And the
Like,
old man
hi.
eventually drops shit. I kept picking it up for him. There was no thank yous, but Southwest did not charge me for any of my drinks, and I had 6 vodkas total. So,
Six. How do you drink one vodka, let alone six
well,
vodkas
I
on a
mix it with
plane?
Bloody Marys, but I asked
Oh, I
what they
mixed it with
do.
Bloody Marys.
Yeah, with Bloody Mary mix. What they do on Southwest is tricky because I feel like they give you now, they don't give you the shooter bottle unless you request it. So they give you the
Hmm,
Bloody Mary already made, and I don't think they put the whole thing in there. So
I don't
now
trust them.
I request 2 vodkas on the side when I do it, just so I can see. And they didn't
Yeah,
charge
that's
me.
exact. So you can Karen them with your booze in case
Mm-hmm.
they get your booze wrong. You can go
Mm-hmm.
full on like
Yes.
right on
Yeah.
them.
How was
So,
your celebration
well,
on
you still didn't
Christmas
tell me
that
how
I
your
was
Christmas was. You
Oh, I'm just kind of done with it because everyone's traveling. It's costly. I have 3 nieces and nephews now, and I have to sit there and pay the money to travel, go see all of them, buy presents for them, their parents, my parents. And in the meantime, like, I love my family, but I got the question of, oh, so we're doing gifts for everybody. And I'm like, I'm one person. I am one person. You have to get me a gift. You have a family of 4. I have to buy twice as many gifts. Yeah, we're doing fucking gifts this year. And don't go crazy. I get fun, like, I got these cool ninja shirts for my brothers and my nephew that say, ask me about my ninja outfit. And then you flip it and it has like a ninja mask. Like, those weren't super
those work.
expensive and they're
No.
fun. So yes, we're getting gifts for fucking everybody because I'm traveling my ass to go see you guys. Don't, jerks.
Yeah, mine was fun. Of course I cooked pork, Megan, for you in honor of you not being there.
Well, I
I
called you
cooked.
Christmas Eve just to
You
verify.
did. You called me Christmas Eve because my Miami Dolphins
We're beating the
put up a great
Cowboys.
game. They beat the Cowboys.
And I was in
Um,
Texas, so it was quite satisfactory.
oh, it was so satisfactory as a Miami Dolphins fan because I was at the game against so a lot has happened since our last show. I was in Miami to go see my dad, and I went to go see the Dolphins versus the Jets, and that was super fun because there's few things better for me or more satisfying than silent New York Jets fans. It was really we beat them 30-0, and just the look of disappointment
Mm-hmm.
on a Jets fan. I think an
Mm-hmm.
angel gets its wings every time the New York Jets lose. So it was so much more fulfilling to see that in person. I went to the Miami Heat game. I saw for any of my Miami people who are listening who like the Heat, or if you're not from Miami and like the Heat, I was at the game against the Bulls where Jimmy Butler hit the game-winning shot as the clock expired. It happened right in front of me. I was sitting right behind the basket with Gio, who will be on the show soon enough. And I lost my freaking shit, lost my voice. It was kind of amazing. So it's been good. And I went on a fucking boat for a week.
Yeah, I saw you fucking asshole.
Thanks. Good times. Maybe
There's
you
some
can.
moments I'm happy for you, and then there's other moments where I see your story and I hope a rainstorm comes.
It's always great that I can have such a supportive friend like Megan at all times. It's so great. Uh, but I got the
You did the
charter
whole
yacht
below
experience.
deck experience.
Well, no, because below deck is like they're like mega yachts. These are those
Oh,
like I forget, they always measure them out in meters. They're like, oh, I worked. The guys always like, oh, I was a chef on a 75 meter. I'm, I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever, dude. No, these were, this was, I mean, it was a yacht. It was 54-foot catamarans. It was a sailboat. It had 4 cabins. It it had up to 8 passengers with 2 crew members. We had a chef. It was incredible.
Wow.
And but I will tell you, it's because when you see below deck and you kind of get a gist of how much those boats cost, it's it's not as bad as you. I mean, it's not cheap. I'm not throwing it down in that sense, but it's much more manageable than you think it would be. So they're all inclusive. And the cool thing about this is it's like you pick your itinerary. So it was a dear friend of mine's 40th birthday, and we just did US Virgin Islands. We were jumping around from island to island, going like anchoring off on a different beach essentially every day for 5 days. And if this was like below deck and we were on one of those like 75 meter, I was on a 99 meters, one of those deals. Those are, those are like a few $100,000 a week, which is, I mean, obviously it's a ton of money, right? This, I want to say these are in the ballpark of like 23 to 30 grand for the week, which is obviously that's a ton of money. But if let's say you divvy it with a group of people and you got 8 people and you do the math, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. Yes, it's still like 2 or 3 grand per person.
So when you
Um,
think about everything you're paying for,
yeah, when you think about everything you're paying for, I think it's something that folks should check out maybe one time in their life. If that's something you're into, it's a
can you
completely
fit
different
16 people in the 8-person boat?
experience. If they're my size and your size, yeah.
Can we all just share beds?
Dude, my
I
I
don't
was
know
expecting
16
this
people. I don't
cabin
know
to be
8 people.
so small. This cabin was like the size of our studio. It was pretty big for being
Well,
on a
yeah, when then you
54-foot
think
boat.
about it, I was looking up cruises just for fun to see how much they are these days. And like a Carnival cruise out of Long Beach for 4 days for a balcony is still like $1,000.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why not spend the extra 1,000, get
I mean,
everything included, your own fucking huge stateroom? Like
well,
yeah, it makes
yeah,
sense.
and you do have like on below deck, you do have preference sheets that you fill out. And if you're allergic to this or you really like this or you really like that. Our chef, Maya was her name. A chef was amazing. Our
What did
captain,
you put on your preference sheet?
I was, what's so funny, Megan? Even though it's one of those like luxury kind of trips, I turn into like the most easygoing person. I'm like,
Me
I like
too.
everything. I don't
Yeah,
want to be inconvenient. I don't want to inconvenience people.
right.
But Maya, her food was so good.
I'd
We
put
had
pine nuts.
our
Pine nuts is
captain,
the
his name
only
was
thing.
Doyle, and Captain Doyle was a cowboy, which is kind of
Ooh,
an Arizona cowboy. And then Maya, I'm having a brain fart. I think Maya's from Massachusetts. And oh my God, dude, we had lobster fillet. She made poke. She made fucking shakshuka. Like some of the best bacon I've ever had. Would you like bacon's all the same? No, it's not. When it's done proper, it was amazing. We had, the painkillers, which are a rum cocktail that I love. I had a ton of those fucking things, and even the wine on board was amazing. It was like I literally have nothing bad to say except the only bad thing is like you want to go back. The second you take one step off the boat, you're like, fuck. I just want to go back on the
this
damn
is
boat.
this is why my subject lines in my email say "fuck you."
Really? Yeah,
Yep.
because I didn't book this. My friend booked it.
Yeah, more
Okay,
fuck you, double fuck you.
double fuck you. Listen,
You ain't gotta do shit. You just gotta be friends with people. This is bullshit.
hey,
I wonder
all
why
right.
I don't have any friends.
Insert Eddie like crossing Megan's name out of a future yacht trip. Okay, cross your name out. Um, no, but Christmas was really good. I had friends, family over. It was nice. I like worked my ass off, which is exhausting, but at the same time it was fun. It was great. So I'm super lucky that I can have people over and cook for people and have such a great time. So I'm lucky. I'm all mushy and shit, but it was great.
Good.
Really great. And I saw my dad, and my dad's out of his fucking mind, and that was amazing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
You gotta
I
have
mean,
a
I'm
sense of
laughing
humor.
about it, but it gets sadder and sadder to say goodbye to him, Megan.
Yeah.
Every time I leave him, it's like I cry. I go to my Uber, which is usually some person who's probably not legally in the country, who's my driver in Miami, and I get in the car and I'm always like misty-eyed, and I'm like, oh, vey, I gotta sit here and pray for my life on the 10-minute ride to the airport.
I think the ratio, I've never seen you cry. The ratio of the times you've seen me cry to you to me is like 0 to 50.
Saying bye to my dad, man. He's going through the so the for folks who have anybody in your family with Alzheimer's or dementia, um, and don't, there comes a point in time potentially where your loved one, whoever has this, is going to have moments of aggression where they think people are lying to them, or sometimes it's people, they'll think that people are stealing from them. This hasn't happened to my father, but you get to deal with an aggressive version of your loved one. And I dealt with that a little bit today with my dad. He was dreaming that people were making fun of him, and they weren't. So, and that was kind of
Paranoia.
it was hard. It was hard. It was not an easy thing to do, but I'm gonna make an effort to go see him as much as I can.
I
You know,
saw a
at least my dad has never had to deal with any TikToks of me that incorporate him and can be potentially embarrassing. So good on it
Uh,
for your dad.
I'm about to make one for my mom because I saw a commercial for Alzheimer's that was like, does your loved one get irritated and yell and scream and out of control for no reason? And I wanted to call my mom and be like, oh my God, mom, I think you've had Alzheimer's my entire life.
Ah, I like that.
She's
I
about to
like
get
that.
thrown under a bus. Eddie, I have such a funny story that
Tell me. I'm
you're gonna
excited about
find
this.
hilarious because it has to do with you and me and the
Oh.
podcast.
Oh boy. Okay, bring it.
So Eddie's introduced me into this world of awesomeness, like these events, these booze places, like alcohol bartenders. Like we get invited now to events that a lot of the time they're free, which is awesome. So you get all these drinks, you get to try new drinks. But whenever I've been invited, it's either you inviting me or it's someone wanting you to come and I'm the connection. So or our
Well, it's
podcast
never
is the
free. Let's
connection.
clarify that. It's never free. Folks always want something, and that's okay. But it
Yeah,
ain't that,
they want some sort of, whatever personality to promote whatever they're selling.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, I got invited to this vodka company's Christmas event where it was free drinks and food, and it was down by the college USC. And I was totally convinced that they knew you.
Okay.
And so I'm going there. I knew you were out of town. So I said, okay, I'll go. I always go there thinking like I've got to mention Eddie because it's Eddie. Like it usually gets me these hookups. And I mentioned you and she didn't know who you were.
Oh, that's
And I was like,
amazing.
this is what?
That's
This is my
awesome.
first event that you just me, an influencer? Okay, Eddie, let's see how I fuck this up. So I am sitting here thinking, okay, I gotta be on my A game. I gotta know what I'm talking about. I gotta know, drinks, and I've got to give feedback, and I've got to take video and pictures. So I turn into influencer mode because it's my first one. And I'm talking. She knows a lot of people in the industry that you've introduced me to, so I sound good. I'm telling her about, products that I sell or stuff that I do. There's about 6 different cocktails. I've tried 4 of them at this point. We're sitting down and I say, I'm going to go get another cocktail. So I go up and I order the 5th one, which is a mezcal drink. And the one I had before it was a mule. The mule came in a copper cup like normal.
Hmm.
And it was good. And I had it and I went and ordered the mezcal drink. Well, the mezcal drink took about 15 minutes to come out. So the
Oh boy.
bartender comes over. Finally, I forgot I had ordered it. She puts it down and she's like, here's your mezcal. And I take a sip and I go, oh, I'm such a mezcal girl. And again, this is 5 cocktails now. And the bartender, I shit you not, comes over and says, oh no, I gave you the wrong drink. That's a mule. And right in front of the liquor person. And she doesn't miss a beat. She didn't let it go. She said about 6 or 7 times, oh, you're a mezcal girl. Oh, you're a mezcal girl. And I was so fucking embarrassed. The whole night was ruined. I just wanted to die. And I looked so stupid. It wasn't in a copper cup. It was in a normal glass. And she handed it to me, said mezcal. I had all of this booze and I was literally just deep in conversation. I was like, oh, I'm a mezcal girl. And it wasn't mezcal. I know the difference between a mule and a mezcal and how they taste. I just
Night and
wasn't
day different.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a mixed cocktail, and she like. If anyone does that, I usually try to make people feel pretty comfortable. Like, oh no, I understand. She didn't relent. She called me mezcal girl about 6 or 7 times, and I snuck out without saying goodbye. So
That's okay. We should invoice Mezcal Lady. And you know, let's just send her a bill randomly. See how
like
just
I
send
was
her an
like,
invoice.
of
You
course,
never know.
I'm sitting there like, I have to impress these people. I have to, I know my booze. And that's what happens. I
I
was
love how
like
you
so
don't feel that
embarrassed
way when I take you somewhere. No, you can just act like an asshole, but you go by yourself and you're like, oh, I have to impress people.
because you're usually there to carry on the conversation about the
No, fuck that.
alcohol. And I'm there to bring the comedy. That's how we work. And I do pay attention,
I'm
but
there to bring the comedy.
you
I love it. That's
usually
how
are
we
good.
work.
You're good with the professional side, and I'm good with making those people laugh on top of it. So it's a good business plan. I'm by myself, and of course I fuck it up. I fucked it up
So you're telling me we can't send you anywhere by yourself
by
is all you're
myself.
telling me.
The first time I fucking get this by myself, and I say I'm a mezcal girl. Oh yeah, okay, you're a mezcal girl. Fuck.
That's
Oh
okay.
my
We're
god.
gonna have a few dandy motherfucking times in 2024 is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have we're like yeah, we're just gonna have a dandy motherfucking time. That's all we're gonna do.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we're
have
back
good
to
old
doing.
fashioned times.
We're gonna do the 1 episode a week. We're gonna start posting more videos. It's going to be a really good year this year. I'm
Yeah.
mentally in a really good place, which means I probably have cancer or something wrong, but
No,
I'm like
no,
in it.
real talk.
I'm happy.
Real talk. I mean, I this last season, our previous season, we didn't get to record as much as I would have wanted to. I
I got a
know,
real job that I don't talk about, but I have a real job
yeah.
that took up my schedule.
Well, but I also know Megan wasn't in a great place to, she just, you know, she wasn't the
Break up.
usual reliable Megan. And I get it. So I get it. But this like this year we are on it. And Santa brought me a new lighting kit, Megan. So when we record here in studio, we're gonna have some fucking bomb ass lighting with our guests.
Yeah, if anyone wants to donate money to us, just do that. Like buy a bunch of, if you just put $1, if all of my followers put $1 in on Instagram, I'd have 14 grand to invest in good, like maybe like the couch seating and the microphone stands that come out with a little more comfort, and you guys will get
Oh,
way better content.
those
Come on,
are
people.
happening. This is all going down. I have a vision and a great plan for this. But anyway, neither here nor
Oh,
there.
oh,
Yeah, what's
Eddie.
up? Talk to me.
I
What'd I do?
forgot to tell you this bit of news too.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that my karaoke DJ got so wasted that he doesn't work at Brass Monkey anymore.
Well, once you said the name of the place, it's kind of easy to figure out who it is.
I'm
No,
gonna
well,
go
cheers
sing
to that. Well,
karaoke.
cheers to that. Yeah, cheers to that.
I wish
So
no ill will, but that's only good news for me since I'm the one that lives right next door and he lives an hour away. So
yeah, that means you can go there comfortably and just have a we gotta do a karaoke episode of Kill the Bottle this season. I'm leaving that
absolutely.
on you, Megan. You're in charge
Okay.
of this. We're gonna do a karaoke episode. We gotta find at least one of our guests who wants to do karaoke and
Yeah,
knock out and do a karaoke episode.
I love it.
What did you eat on Christmas? Do you eat Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? What do you do
We
in your family?
celebrate Christmas Eve because we traveled back on Christmas.
Okay.
So I mean we don't have a tradition, but
No, but
my
what did you eat this year?
my brother did a good job. He took my advice. Adam Perry Lang is a
Hmm.
cookbook author and a steak guy that I'm obsessed with, and I've like read all his books, all his stuff, all his hints. And I turned my brother on to, actually I think my brother turned himself onto him, and then I had to remind my brother that I worked for Adam Carolla, who's best friends with that guy, so I've met him and had his food and know who he is. Still not impressed, I don't think, but he took a page out of his book and did these huge tomahawk steaks that I
Nice.
instructed. I've washed my hands because my mom and I fight over food, and I don't want to deal with it anymore.
No, and
But
you're like an excellent cook, so
I know
that
they don't want it.
that
They
gets in
don't
the
want
way.
it. They
Yeah,
don't want it.
fine.
They don't get it. So we had lobster tails and tomahawk steaks, which was pretty fancy. And I got it for free. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you, Matt, my
That's
brother.
awesome.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, there was the one of the cool shit that I got very lucky to. I don't get invited to this stuff anymore, but I got invited to Jimmy Kimmel's like his green room one
Yep.
time, and
Yep.
he's
Adam Perry
friends with
Lang was
Adam
there,
Perry
right?
Lang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how they all know each other. Yep.
yeah. He cooked like he was cooking outside in the parking lot after the show. That was the
Yep.
show where I was talking to Leonard Hamilton, the famous Formula One driver, and I had no idea who he was. I was talking
Loser.
to him, and then we pull out. I don't know if I've told the story on the show before, but I'm talking to this guy as the show ends, and the guests on the show were Wanda Sykes, Leonard Hamilton, and it was the first time in years that Sacha Baron Cohen had dressed up as Borat, and he had run out as Borat, and he had like done some crazy thing on the stage and run out, and then he peeked his head where we were, and I was busy getting hammered drinking bourbon, and I didn't see it. I just heard his head, and he was doing the voice, and he ran out anyway. And I'm talking to Leonard Hamilton, not knowing it's Leonard Hamilton. The door to the back of Jimmy Kimmel opens up. So the and behind the theater where they do Jimmy Kimmel's, where the limos pull up and there's like fans and stuff out there. And I walk out the back, and it's fucking people start going crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I see this guy like walk out there and start like waving to them. And that's the dude I was talking to. It was the F1 driver. Very handsome and nice British dude named Leonard Hamilton. Anyway, and then Adam Perry, that guy, the food was so good.
He's
I
so
still
good.
remember it to this day, and I was shit faced.
He does
It was
pop-ups
so
around
good.
LA that I'm thinking about going to another one because now he's in Echo Park this coming weekend. But I'm a huge fan. He knows it. I've talked to him. He would come to Adam's studio, for like Super Bowl or events, and he would cook there too with Jimmy. And him and Jimmy actually opened a restaurant called APL together. Now
Yeah.
APL is on and off as far as open. They say they're open, but it's very sporadic. But what he has been doing consistently is his pop-ups throughout LA at different restaurants, like whatever restaurant will let him go in the back and grill. But the videos are just, if you guys don't know who he is, Google him and get his book because that man knows how to handle his meat. It's called
Yeah.
Active Grilling, motherfuckers.
What
Active.
was it? He so when I was still when I was still sponsored by Lexus, he was hired for a food and wine event that Lexus had at the Angel Stadium in Anaheim. And he was sitting there, and I've never seen somebody so meticulously saucing their barbecue. And he was sitting there with this like drenched brush. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like this.
Yeah.
It's
It's
brush
an
that
herb
had been.
brush, right?
Yeah, and he was
Mhm.
just sitting there like brushing his beef ribs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember I tried. I was like, oh my god, they were so fucking good.
The active grilling. Yeah, what he takes the herbs and he rubber bands it around a spatula and he brushes and hits and brushes and hit like
Mhm.
one of those like whatever therapy things where they hit you with the the
Yeah,
sage.
yeah,
Yeah. He does that with the meat and it's brilliant. And then he uses that to make these board dressings that are brilliant. I get laid because of him, because of his steaks. All I got to do is cook a
yeah.
steak like him, and I literally
I
have
don't. I
guys
don't think you
dropping their
need to.
pants.
I don't think you need to do that, Megan. But that's just an incentive.
Aw, that's the
That's
nicest thing
just
you've
an
ever said.
incentive. That's just an incentive for some dude. Definitely not a karaoke DJ, but that's an incentive for some
It
future
worked on
dude.
him too.
I mean, I think you could have fed Jack in the Box
I
to
don't
him,
even
and he
go
would have
to
been fine.
steakhouses anymore because I still feel like the ones I learned from Adam Perry Lang they're better than steakhouses. I'm like, why spend that much money? I literally can do it
That's probably
myself.
the yeah. So there's a steakhouse. I don't want to mention them on the air yet, but they reached out to me about coming and checking them out and do this whole thing. And I actually think we should do a show there.
Great.
Sorry to like preface this, guys. If it doesn't happen, it's not because I didn't try. It could be that they're a royal pain in the ass when I get into conversations with them. But there's a pretty prominent steakhouse here in LA that's been wanting me to come in, and I mean, I'm at the point where I feel like I make a better steak than
Yeah.
just about what I'm gonna buy anywhere. But I think it might be a fun place for us to do a show. So I think we
So
can
we
inquire
go
about that. But
judge them.
steakhouse to me is that thing now where unless they have either a very kind of, I don't want to, exclusive isn't the word, very unique meat beef that like I can't get somewhere else. Like there's a place I go to in Miami every time I'm there, and I have never eaten at the actual restaurant. I go to this place, to their butcher shop, because their meat comes from Argentina. And if you've ever had any kind of beef from Argentina, it has there's something about it. It's really good. There's, caviar, there's beluga caviar, there's caviar from here, from there. There's something about the meat from Argentina that makes it very distinct. So if a place has like, oh, Snake River Farms meat, or they have this or that I can recognize the name, or there's something very unique about it, boom, I'm gonna give it a go,
Mhm.
because that's, I guess, what's gonna make it something I can't do at home, or
Yeah.
something that's gonna be a pain in the ass for me to do at home,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I can just do it myself. Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
get Adam on the show and let's go to the steakhouse.
You know what? The one thing that I refuse to learn how to do, because it ends up being more expensive to learn how to do it, is sushi.
Yes,
Because go and
absolutely.
buy like try to buy a sushi grade piece of tuna somewhere, like a good quality one.
Yep.
It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg.
Yep.
Where obviously you can get a lot more sushi out of that piece of sushi tuna, whatever that you buy. But fuck, it's so time consuming. It's
Yeah.
so, and I watch me go take a class on how to make sushi in the future and I'll be like, fuck this, I'm never buying sushi again. But for the time being, sushi's the one of the things where I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm not gonna try this at home. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go.
No.
That's
Six
too much work.
$6 for 2 pieces of whatever fish you want. Like, meh.
You
Just
got
go
me.
spend it. You got me.
You got me. Yeah, you got
28
me.
for like 8 pieces of amazing fish and someone else doing the work, and you don't have to buy all the tools. Unless, wait, what if it's one of those naked ones? Have you seen those where
No, what's that?
the naked people lay down, naked people, and they put like
Oh, naked. I'm like, naked. What the fuck is naked?
naked sushi? I've been around kids for too
I'm
long.
trying to remember if I've ever been. I think I've been to a party where they weren't naked, but they made it look like they were naked. They were really wearing
Mm.
like a bathing suit or whatever, and they had like models with sushi on them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it may have been when I was working in catering and I was actually working. I don't remember.
That
So I
doesn't sound
can't. I don't
appealing
think
to
I've
me.
ever pulled a piece of sushi off of a human being and eaten it.
And
You
it
know?
just sounds gross. Like people gross me out anyways. Like,
Yeah, people are
ew.
disgusting. I don't need to add disgust to the food that potentially could already be disgusting if it's not fresh, like sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
so I don't need
Hope
that
they
in my life.
showered.
So speaking of like, stuff like that you won't make at home, off the top of your head, do you remember what was the best meal you had in 2023?
Hmm. Probably I went to Providence. I did go to Providence.
The fuck?
Yeah, I
Wait,
did.
where was I? When did you do this?
November, beginning of November, when I got my paycheck.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, that it was good. That's what that money pays
was it
for.
good or was it great? Was it exceptional?
It
Was
was
it
exceptional compared to the shit. I was so angry about that vegetarian tasting menu, and that cost literally twice as much as Providence did. And Providence blew me out of the water. The service, the food, the presentation, the extra. By the end, I was joking with the guy next to me, and I was like, "If they bring me out one more fucking thing, I think I'm gonna run." And then the server heard me and came out, and he's like, "Please don't run." Because they came out with like 2 more desserts, and
You're
I
like,
was
I
like,
am too full to run, so don't worry,
yeah.
I'm not going
I just
anywhere.
the pricing on that, you just think you go and pay $60 for like a entree somewhere versus you go to Providence and pay $250 to $300 for this 8-course meal that they keep surprising you with little goodies. It cost effectiveness is just go get the fucking tasting menu and then don't eat out the rest of the month. Like that
Yeah,
is worth it.
I'm with you on that. And I want to preface, like, I know not everybody can afford that, and I'm like, we're blessed to be able to put some money together and do those kinds of things.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
go out the rest of the month.
Yeah, it's I'm not above eating a $2 street taco. But at the
Right.
same time, as much as I appreciate a really good street taco, there's something to be said about the fine dining experience when you can get a place like Providence, and we're so lucky that we have that level of a place here in LA,
Yeah.
where they're not as abundant as you would see in like New York City, or even, to be honest with San Francisco. I think in LA has incredible food, incredible restaurants, but when it comes to that niche tasting experience, that's that Michelin. I think what are they, 2 Michelin star?
I think so.
uh, um, we don't have a lot of that, which is,
No.
it's fine, but it really sets Providence like a cut
Up
above,
there.
everybody else.
It was reminiscent of French Laundry for sure. The way French Laundry surprises you too, and they bring out extra goodies, and then they bring you through the chef's kitchen. and then leave you with a gift on top of that. It's just that's service to me, and they're just on it. That's what I
Absolutely.
love.
It makes
What about you?
all the difference in the world. Best meal. So funny, the best meal I had in 2023 was not in LA. It was at a Spanish restaurant in Miami called Leku. And fuck me, I don't remember when I was there. I may have been there in September. I don't remember. Unfortunately, like my I have no idea when it was. But it was this year. It was in the fall, and the weather was just beautiful. It was like a good time of the year to be in Miami. And they had asked me to go check this place out, and I resisted a little bit at first, which happens sometimes. And I was the one thing I'll ever quote about MTV, or sorry, not MTV, Will Smith, is one time he was at the MTV Awards and he goes, MTV stands for my time is very valuable. And that's how I feel sometimes when it comes to these things, like restaurants will want to invite me, and I'm very blessed for that. But I'm also like, well, no, I don't want to give up fucking 3 hours of my time in Miami when I can go see my dad, I can go see my friends. You know what I mean? But anyway, I said yes because this place looks so good, and fuck my life, Megan. It was
Oh man.
spectacular. My friends in Miami, and I'm also very, very self-aware in the sense where I know that sometimes when I get asked to these places, and by the way, guys, if you're listening, I tipped exceptionally well. I tipped about 25% on this check. So the people that were taking care of me were very well taken care of, even though the restaurant did comp my meal. And I'm not giving them because I get meals comped all the time. I'm not giving them a compliment because this meal was comped. I'm giving them a compliment because it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Every single thing that was brought to my table was amazing.
But that's the
And
stuff I think we stand for. That's what we stand
absolutely,
for. It's not you're gonna. I hate that. I think we've mentioned that. I hate that when you go on to all these different Instagrams that are promoting these restaurants, and you go and there's shitty experiences and shitty restaurants. It's because those people got paid to do it. I will gladly pay and promote your business for the connection. The connection's great to have in the future, but I am not going to sit here and promote your shit just because you're paying me if it's bad. Like I'm not going to ruin my name like that.
no, and absolutely, and I understand that places can have an off day,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. That's okay too. But 2, 3 off days in a row, and when those 2, 3 off days in a row equal their equivalent of a car payment and how what you spend there, then fuck you. I'm not spending another
No,
penny
no.
at your
And,
restaurant, and that's okay too.
and I
That's
don't
fine.
usually, unless it's a terrible experience for the money, I just don't talk about him. That's the deal. If it's bad and I don't like it, and I won't talk about you, I won't promote you. If it's
Yeah.
fantastic, I'll promote you. Now, if it's fucking awful, like that vegetarian tasting menu that overcharged, I will mention that because people should avoid that. That's not
Now,
cool.
besides Providence, it could be at Providence. So forget meal. What was the best thing you ate? And you can say two things. You could say the best dessert was this, or the best whatever was this, and then the best this was that. Do you remember anything off the top of your head that you're
I
like,
don't. I don't. How
oh
crazy is
man,
that? I don't remember one thing that super stood out. I mean, I do this all the time. I go eat. I don't eat fancy $300 meals all the time, but I go to so many places and try little things all the time that
yeah,
there's nothing that ever really has stood out this year as far as like this is the best thing I've ever tasted.
maybe, maybe
It's
not
an
the.
experience thing.
I had a couple real fucking good things or things that I discovered this year that I didn't
Maybe I
know I
should stop
didn't know.
drinking because I don't remember like
Well,
everything
I,
I
I
had.
I posted something today on my Instagram about the best thing that I ate in 2023, and I had a bunch of amazing things, but this one really stood out to me because it sounds like a silly combination, or not a silly
By
combination,
the
but it
way,
sounds
this
like
is
maybe
why you're good at being professional in our conversations because you'll remember this shit, and I'm the one that does the comedy. Continue.
fair. But a restaurant that you've been to, we haven't sat down and had a full meal there, but you've been to this place. You've gotten a gist of what the restaurant is about. It's a restaurant called Verse in North Hollywood in LA, and the chef makes a Basque cheesecake, which, as I mentioned before, the best meal I had 2023 was Leku in Miami, and they had the most authentic at Leku in Miami, the most authentic Basque cheesecake I've had stateside because in the summer I was in San Sebastian in Basque Country in Spain. I got to eat it at the source, and the closest thing I've had to what it tasted like in Spain was Leku in Miami. That being said, the best thing I ate this year was the Basque cheesecake at Verse in LA. It's an interpretation of Basque cheesecake by Chef Oscar. but it has a fucking generous amount of caviar on top of the cheesecake. And it's not because caviar is fancy. So yes, it is, but the combination of the saltiness of the caviar with the Bass cheesecake is one of the most fun and exciting kind of flavor explosions of dessert that I had this year that really stood with me. And I found myself going, I've been to Verse since the first time I tried that cheesecake would have been, earlier in the year. I've probably had this cheesecake 5 or 6 times since, and every single time my I get excited about the stupid fucking. I mean, I say stupid. It's exceptional, but I get excited about this cheesecake showing up at the table with this layer of caviar, and it's not that it's simple because the cheesecake already is exceptional, but just adding that little salinity to it makes it like mind blowing. It is it every person that I've had who's tasted it is like, fuck. They just kind of love it. So anyway, that was the best thing I ate, dessert wise, I guess. It's still the best thing I ate. But then the biggest surprise I had this year was there's this winery in Paso Robles called Niner Winery, and they make really good wine. But it just so happens to be one of the wineries that has a full kitchen, so you can actually go and eat there. You can go like make a reservation, do wine tasting, and then eat there. Their fucking food is always so good, right? But they had this like chicken and mushroom dish that I want to say it's in the air of chicken marsala. It's not a chicken marsala, but it's that same kind of thing where it's chicken, sauce, mushrooms. There might be some wine in the sauce. Megan, it was so good. I sat there and I'm like, fuck. I was drinking a bottle of a sparkling wine, Blanc de Noir. So it was a sparkling wine that was predominantly Pinot Noir from their winery. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, fuck, I'm so fucking lucky. I'm sitting there like taking a sip of the sparkling wine and I'm eating this chicken. And I was like, this is one of the best things I've eaten the entire year. And it's at a winery. It's in the middle of Central California. It's not like some restaurant that people go out of their way to go to. Some people don't even know it exists. And I'm like, these motherfuckers win every time I'm here. So anyway, those are the two things. And sorry,
I
I
can
dragged
do
it on forever.
surprising.
Yeah. Oh,
I can
what do
do
you got?
surprising. Well,
Yeah.
I never really enjoyed ceviche. I think I've always had really bad ceviche. And Grand Central Market downtown has this little
Okay.
ceviche shop in the big area where they have all the restaurants. If you're not from LA, there's a big, restaurant hub. You can go and you have beers and you can eat
Well, Grand
tons of
Central
food.
Market.
Yep, that's what I
So
said,
you said
right?
Grand Central Station, didn't you?
No, I
Or
said
am I?
Grand Central Market.
Okay, sorry. I thought I heard Grand Central Station. I'm like, no, that's not
No,
Grand Central
that's not even
Station. Okay,
here.
okay.
No, Grand Central Market, and there's a little ceviche shop in there that has just these tostadas with the ceviche on it, and they have all different types.
So good.
And it shocked me because now I'm craving ceviche, but it's nothing like that. And so that was a surprising dish this year that I had. That if anyone wants good ceviche, go try it there.
There's an I think it's an island. Yeah, there's an island off the coast of Mexico, and it's spelled Holbox. It's pronounced Holbox, and there is
I've
a
learned
kiosk.
there's a whole box here. Is that how you say it? Whole bosh?
Holbox, yes.
Do you
So
know that
when you
there's one
mentioned
here?
ceviche, I'm talking. Yeah, it's right by USC in this food hall.
I'm going there
Um,
in 2 weeks. I'm gonna try it out.
Oh, so I was about to mention that is the best ceviche I've had in Los Angeles.
Great.
So folks listening at home, this place is in the Michelin Guide. You walk into a fucking food court and you see
Hmm.
this like beautiful seafood counter inside a food court. And um like so as I'm telling you right now, yes, ceviche. Yes to the best octopus tacos I have ever had. They're spectacular. And then they serve this delicacy that they're blood clams. So that these clams that when you open up, the liquid inside of them is red,
Oh,
and they are super good. A lot like you don't find them very often, and the ones that they serve at Holbox are like spectacular. And then they have their own house-made like hot sauces. I know that you're not afraid of spice. Like go down the gambit of them, Megan. You're gonna be blown away by them. Anybody who listens to the show, if you're a student at USC, if you have a kid that goes to USC, a family member that goes to USC, it is right next to the USC campus. And this place is exceptional. It's one of the places like it's in my checklist of places where when people come from out of town and they're foodies, I take them there because it's not crazy expensive,
And there's
and
no
it is Michelin
booze.
Guide. There's no booze there.
Well, because
No,
they have a tasting menu dinner, but they make it very clear that there's no booze. So I'm like, no, I'll
it's
just go try a
BYOB. Like,
couple.
bring your own
No,
shit.
they say they don't do that either. They posted
Yeah,
that
but
in their
you know
thing.
that they can't deny you wearing a jacket with a straw.
They
So
they were, first of all, they did an event for the Taste of LA. So they were like one of the main places that they featured,
okay,
and then they also are in the, I have my list here, the 101 best restaurants in LA list just came out. And every year the more and more I stay here, the more highlighted. I've already been to that, which is great.
yeah,
But that was on my list, so I am gonna go in 2 weeks because I keep hearing about it. So,
it's spectacular. I've probably been about a
and they don't
dozen
pay
times.
us. By the way,
No,
people, this is
they do
us.
not pay us, guys. I've been about a dozen times, and it's just it's so freaking good. One of the restaurants that popped up on the 101 list. So it used to be this incredible iconic writer named Jonathan Gold who passed away. He was the guy who would
I
curate.
have that list too.
Yeah, he would curate this really amazing 101 restaurant list for LA, and I think this restaurant is number 2, and it's called Ananjak or Anjak
Anna
Thai.
Jack Thai. Hmm.
Yeah, in Sherman Oaks, and it's walking distance from my old fucking apartment.
Oh wow,
And I know, but that is a place that I am planning on going to like in the next 2 weeks. Like
I've
I
been
am,
there.
and
Well, I got to go. It was super good. I mean, to be honest, it didn't. It was great. It just
but
didn't
to
like.
go is not the right experience for a place like that. I think you
Well, it
have
was
to sit
during
down.
COVID, so I had to
Oh, got
go.
it.
Yeah, I had
Okay,
to do
got
it
it,
to
got it,
go.
got it, got it.
Maybe I'll go sit down sometime, but I've gotten it to go, and it was pretty great. It was great. I've had so much Thai that nothing stood out to me, and it's
Fair.
always on those lists. So I'm still
So
trying to figure out why.
that's one of those experiences where I would tell you like the to-go experience is now if a place can hit every like if you eat there first, you try it, and then the to-go is almost as good, you're like, hell yeah, this is a win.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, this is also one of those where I'll make the exception and be like, you know what, I need to try this place at the restaurant.
yeah.
And
We
they
should
have
do
a
it
pretty
together.
eclectic. I don't want to say eclectic. Yeah, let's do it together. I I don't want to say eclectic Thai menu because I've been to Thailand, but I don't like I can't sit there and be like, oh, the menu at this Thai restaurant is very eclectic.
Yeah.
It's different than what you think your everyday Thai restaurant you find in any major city.
Hmm.
They've got a lot of like whole fish. They've got a lot of very kind of unique dishes that I haven't seen on menus outside of Thailand. So I do want to kind of go through there. So we should go, Megan, and just
We
order
should
like
go.
a few different things and try all that shit.
One of the
Um,
surprises on the 101 list is that there's a lot more Koreatown restaurants on there that I've never seen that many. So that's kind
have
of
you been to
exciting.
all or no?
I've been to one of the
Oh, wow,
K-Town
that's exciting for
restaurants.
you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go try they're so authentic sometimes that I'm always scared to go spend a bunch of money on something that I might be like, oh, like I just not my oh, I can't do it. So the three that are on there that I haven't been on, there's one, Here's Looking at You, and Craig Kilburn's talked about it. He's been
Okay.
there, and that one made the list this year. I've been there. It's again, nothing really stood out. But these other ones are pretty authentic Korea ones that I haven't gone to because of how authentic they are. So a guide
Huh.
to that's going to be a little more interesting to I'll give it a try. I'll try anything.
Just food for thought. Maybe you should date a Korean karaoke DJ, and that way they
Mm.
can help you decipher the menu and demystify it and make you feel comfortable when you go eat at the fucking Korean restaurant. I,
I
I
don't give
don't
a
I don't know.
shit.
Um, so I have you been to this? And so my nephew took my brother there on his drive from North Carolina to LSU. My nephew goes to LSU, and my brother was like, "This place is kind of incredible." And I look at the stuff online about it, and I mean, I think it's fine, but I'm like, is it fine if you're from fucking Podunk, Alabama, fine? Or is it fine if you're from like the middle of fucking, I don't know, nowhere, Central California? Or is it actually fine? Have you been to Buc-ee's, the like famous, I don't know
Gas
what it is. It's
station.
like a gas station convenience
I've
store, but they
never
have like
been,
brisket, they have jerky,
but I
it
know
looks
what it
fucking
is. Yeah.
amazing.
It's like the largest gas station in the United States. where they
Which
have the
probably gives
largest
you the
one.
most gas of any gas station in the United
It's also
States
the
with all the
cheapest. Jesus
it's
Christ. Texas gas is $2.65 a gallon right now. And we're
just
at
get an electric car.
5.75. I have a hybrid and it still costs me 60 goddamn dollars to fill it up.
Yeah, but I mean, you get some good amount of driving out of that hybrid, out of that car.
Not now with the job. Anyways.
Not now with this whole work thing that
I
gives me
wasn't, yeah,
insurance
I
and
wasn't
employment.
driving before. I didn't use my car at all.
Oh, trust me, Megan, nobody drives more for work than I
Than
do.
you do. Yeah.
So
I hate it.
I
I
bought
hate
my car in
driving.
April. My car has like 12,000 miles on it already, and I've just been driving like a mofo in that thing. Uh, I thought this was kind of cool. I was reading an article in the news, and are you familiar with Jacques Pepin, famous French chef,
Hmm.
legend? And I thought there was something really cool that he does that any of us can do. So, grocery store rotisserie chicken. Are you a fan?
I am, but I've heard it's really bad for you. I am a fan. It's always good, but I
Not if
heard
you buy
it's,
it at Costco. It's perfect for you if you buy it at Costco.
oh, for
My heaven
fuck's
sent.
sakes. Drink. I'm out of drinks. You mentioned
You know what?
Costco.
I'm on drink number 2. I'm actually drinking the Boulevardier from Neo. And Neo, so this is not a sponsored episode, guys, but these are tasty, so I want to give them a plug. It's NIO. So look them up online, Neo NIO, and they do these little pre-batch cocktails that you can buy. And if you're not a bartender, honestly, this is kind of like a great idea. I don't know how much they cost, so fuck it. I didn't look that up. But if you're not a bartender and you want to have like a good quality cocktail for your guests, it is kind of nice to just have a couple of these stacked away and be like, here, motherfucker, when you go to my house, here's a Boulevardier. Anyway, so Jacques Pepin, what he does with his rotisserie chicken, I think is kind of cool because it's something that we all, at least I've never thought to, it makes perfect sense, but I've always tossed it out. So the juices at the bottom of the pan from his rotisserie chicken, that motherfucker will throw them in a pan with vegetables. He'll saute them with the vegetables so you get all the juices and the flavors from that rotisserie chicken, and then he'll put the vegetables over the chicken after he's like deboned it and plated it. And I'm like, you motherfucking fancy French chef. That is but think about it. They've given you this
Yeah.
plate. You've paid, I mean, the most I've ever seen a rotisserie chicken. Air One doesn't count, guys. I know all the videos are trending on TikTok about Air One. I have no idea what a rotisserie, if they even sell rotisserie chicken. But
For a
even at
hundred
Whole
dollars.
Foods, a rotisserie chicken, I've never seen it for more than like 14 or 15 bucks, which is still, compared to other places, it is more expensive, but it's still, delicious. Like a bunch of people can eat from this one rotisserie chicken. But I'm like, shit, that is the perfect thing to do with those like amazing juices at the bottom of the pan of the rotisserie. I'm like, duh, I am not throwing these out anymore. I'm just gonna make sure that when I get a rotisserie chicken, I'm gonna have like some cauliflower, some broccoli, some green, whatever, and
Hmm.
saute that shit. Is
Hmm.
is there is there anything that
Eggs.
you
2 eggs in
would?
that bad boy for
Oh fuck
breakfast the next
yeah,
morning. Hmm.
dude. So I'm very lucky that my brother is my older brother. Both my brothers are older. My oldest brother is really like foodie generous to me, and I think it's because that motherfucker will ask me 70 food and wine questions per month. So at this point, when it comes to holiday time, he's like, let me just give him some nice shit. My brother gave me last year some Japanese A5 Wagyu steaks, which are super fucking expensive and they're cherished. But like you said, like eggs, right? After I cook these steaks, and when I tell you, folks listening at home, the fat content in these steaks, like you don't have to grease the pan. You just throw the steaks on there, and they kind of oil the pan themselves. I would save the fat from the A5 Wagyu, and I would fry eggs in it for like the next 2 days
Yep.
because I'm like, this fat is so perfect and coveted
Hmm.
that I'm gonna use it. You know?
Yep.
Is there
Absolutely.
anything you do, Megan, as far as like, is there something you buy that you're like, ooh, I'm gonna make sure I keep the bones from the rotisserie chicken and make a stock, or I'm gonna do this, and this whenever I buy this thing?
I've done it all, but I mean, a little secret revealed. Like I'm working on a cookbook. Maybe we both kind of are. But my half of it is about being single and cooking for yourself and like enjoying that. That being said, the amount of
You're single
creativity,
now.
yeah,
You weren't
the
single before.
the amount of
Sorry.
creativity that goes into taking what you have and then figuring it out. So I'll follow recipes all week and then have all this extra stuff because these recipes, they feed 2 to 4. Well, I'm fucking one. So I have to get creative on Sundays. I make it a goal to not spend any money and just take what I have and put it all together. So between, the grease, between, vegetables that are just going to sit there and rot, I'll throw
Yeah,
anything in to make use of it. And that's when you get creative and explore things. And my family will never get any of it.
that's right.
That's
Because
right.
they will
They
not appreciate.
they
No,
don't want it, they don't get it.
they don't want it. They don't get it. To quote, I was like, it's the funniest thing is like Gene Simmons is known for being like super duper like stingy, and one of his lines is like, "No free rides.
Yep.
There's no free rides."
No.
I'm like, yeah,
During Christmas, my mom straight was just like, I'm tired and I don't want to cook anymore. And I was like, too bad. You have chosen this battle. You won it. It's on you now. That's the choice you make. So
yeah, inside joke, but Megan could have been like, "Look, mom, I have broken blood vessels in my cheeks and in my
I
and yeah,
can't.
mom."
I
And
can't.
if you don't understand this joke, guys, just go back through Megan's Instagram. You'll find it. But
Yes.
yeah, how much singing did you do with your dad while you were there? Because you know what, I will tell you, I I I get so happy for you. So guys listening at home, Megan will share these videos of her playing music and like singing with her dad, and I get so happy for her because that's something, Megan is very funny and very out of left field with her way of being. But if you get to know her, there's such a tenderness about, when you break through the shell of Megan and see who she really is, when you see her spending time with her dad and singing and all that, it reminds me of spending time with my dad and talking about music and playing music. How much music did you engage with your dad? Like, how much time did you spend singing and fucking around with your dad with the music
There's
and
a
the guitar?
lot involved because we'll stay at an Airbnb separate, so it's just me and my parents, and then my brothers are with their families. There's times where it's really fun, but there's also times where it feels kind of obligatory, like I have to do it because I'm lucky
Yeah.
that I
Who
have
brings
my
the instruments? Do you bring your guitar? Does your
no
dad bring
my
a guitar?
we thought about it. My brother had 2 guitars because both my brothers play. My other
I
brother
love how
actually
you have to
like
plan this. They
yeah my
definitely don't
other
use condoms, but they play with guitars. That's
They
important.
do,
Yeah.
absolutely. My other brother is actually he drummed for Dua Lipa. He's the one that came on our show.
Yeah.
He was a pretty prominent musician. But he has these really fancy guitars, so he let us borrow them. And whenever my dad has it out, he wants to play, and it's something I'll always remember. It's something that's super sweet because he taught me, a few chords of Pink Floyd when I was 12, and then I just went on from there to actually be a paid musician for 10 years in my 20s. And what's funny is he always kind of like urged my brothers and always wanted to play with my brothers and always complimented my brothers. And he was a dentist and he retired and now he's doing gigs and doing shows. And he talks to me like he doesn't mean to, but he talks to me like I have no idea what he's talking about. And I'm like, Dad, did you forget I did this for 10 years? You guys didn't give a shit then. But now I take advantage of it where I sit there and I'll grab the guitar and learn, and the songs he wants to play. He doesn't want to play the songs I love, so we always end up going back to his songs, which is fine. When
Well,
you have that time with your dad, I know so many people that don't have that time. So when my grandfather died last year, it was my brothers, me and my dad, and my cousins on my grandpa's side, and we were all sitting in the living room singing, all of us together. And there was a moment where I was like, not a lot of families have this, and it just clicked in my head that I just need to take advantage of that.
absolutely. And to make a food analogy and a food kind of correlation to this, there's a big similarity between a really good guitar and a really good kitchen knife. And what, like, a great guitarist can make any guitar sound good. That's great. Yes. A great chef can use any knife and as dull as it can be and still make something work out of it. But there is something to be said when you pick up a really well crafted instrument, whether it's a guitar, whether it is your knife, whether it's your pan in the kitchen, whether it's your wine glass. When certain things are made well and you have an affinity for them and you can appreciate them, There's something to be said about kind of that quality in anything
Yeah.
over quantity.
I don't have those nice guitars and shit because I break shit too much. My God, my piano and my guitar just has like beer and booze spills all over it. Like it's just that's why I don't have nice guitars.
Well, I'm looking at your garbage can in the background and how the lid's not closed, and I'm like, how much shit is in there that the fucking lid won't close, Megan?
Can I talk about that real quick? Because I'm
Yeah,
embezzling.
please.
You see that trash bag? I'm embezzling trash bags from my work because they give us trash bags every morning for a certain activity that we have to do every fucking morning. And my kids do not oh shit, I said kids. The people I work with do not participate in the activity.
No, baby goats.
Yeah, baby goats, the kids, they so I have just piles of trash bags that are unused.
Are they
And
13-gallon? Are you bring some
they're
over?
giant. They're bigger than that. And so my lid doesn't close because they're so big. But I'm embezzling. I'm not going to buy, if I keep this job, I'm not going to buy a trash bag for the rest of my life. It's amazing.
Speaking of keeping this job, you're definitely going to keep this job on Kill the Bottle podcast. Hopefully I can keep this job as well. So folks, it is Kill the Bottle. It is the new year. Megan and I are super fucking excited
In
to
good
be
places.
here.
We're so excited.
We're both in really, really great places. I have had this happen a couple times where I forget to do it. And I had somebody tell me this, in the past week, actually. And they were like, hey, I listened to a bunch of podcasts and I really love how you guys end your podcast because I don't have a lot of time and I'm really selective in what I listen to in my personal time. And that like made me bring it back. And I'm like, fuck, I have to really make sure to acknowledge people at the end of every episode. And, folks, the only thing we don't get back in life is time. Money comes and goes. Friends come and go. The only thing we cannot get back is time. And Megan and I want to thank you and acknowledge you for spending a little bit of your precious time here with us on Kill the Bottle podcast. Please rate, review, like, subscribe. It makes all the difference in the world for Megan and I to get to jump on here and chat with you every
if you
week.
are followers of our Instagram, pop over to our personal Instagrams, pop over to our KTB, Kill the Bottle Instagram, and follow that because that's only going to help us get more fun guests. It's only going to help us get more exciting adventures to share with you guys and give you guys advice on, and maybe even see you guys in the future if we can get out of LA.
That's right. So at Kill the Bottle Podcast, at Kill the Bottle Podcast on Instagram. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, whoever the fuck is listening. I had a moment the other day where I was like, oh fuck, what and I'm not trying to make fun of it. I just don't know what to refer to somebody who was a woman and is now, transitioning. And I was at a coffee shop and this person was so lovely. And I just called them dude. I didn't know what to call. I was like,
you call everybody dude. That's a great go-to.
I do, but that's like my safe bet. I don't know. I think it was years of watching Ninja Turtles as a kid where they called everybody dude and it like stuck with me. But anyway, if you see me out, I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't know.
I know. I feel bad because there's so many people trying to learn English, and that actually is like the hardest part of learning English is getting those pronouns of people right. So when we fuck with them and we're like they, them, like we're like, oh, you just fuck with their heads. Like that's it's so hard.
But I really appreciate the people that understand that not everybody understands that.
Yes, thank you.
And they can just be like, hey, no, it's cool. I'm this. I'm like, all right, cool.
Thank you. Like, yeah, and I'll try. And I will try. I know.
Of course. Anyway, Megan, love you. See you next week, everybody. Kill the Bottle Podcast.